Hey everyone, this is Christine Harrington, the Savvy Sales Lady, and I have with me, go ahead, Wes.
Wes Wyatt.
Wes Wyatt, the producer extraordinaire, and he helps live stream these Savvy Sales Lady live for me. And today I'm actually, Wes, I'm a little nervous as well as excited to have Michelle Cirocco on. But before we bring her on, let me tell you a little bit about my journey with Michelle. I met her back in 2019, and it was through LinkedIn. And she invited me to go to Rockville Women's Prison to do some sales training and some coaching with the women that worked for Televerde, the women inmates that worked for Televerde at the Rockville prison. And I was blown away by not only how professional these women sounded over the phone, but also their success. And nobody wants to hear this, but it was all about cold calling. They were cold calling business after business after business, and it was impressive to hear them. I had a little bit of time to talk to them individually and to give them some of my tips on cold calling. They were just hungry with information. Just anything I told them, they just absorbed it like a sponge and then used it on the next call. And this one woman, I can't think of her name. Oh, Julie was her name. And I gave her a tip, and she did it. And she turned to me and she goes, "Oh my gosh, that worked." And she said she was going to use it from now on. Now, I know you guys are probably wondering, well, what's the tip? And honestly, I don't remember now. But it was a pleasure to work with these women, and so surreal when I left that there I'm leaving, going back into freedom, and they're still behind bars for crimes. So one of the reasons why I wanted to bring Michelle Cirocco on today is because they partner with businesses to be able to do what they do at Televerde, and that is telemarketing for businesses. So Wes, that's what we're going to be talking about today with Michelle.
Sounds like a plan.
All righty. Are we ready to get started?
We are ready to run the bumper if you'd like. We don't have Michelle yet, but okay. If you want me to run the bumper, and then when we get back, maybe she's here, and if not, we can keep going.
All right. That sounds great. Sounds like a plan. Go ahead and run that bumper. The peak performance mindset. Look at all. Getting ready to present at getting ready to start the peak performance. You know, Wes, I love that music, but another thing, I realized when I was watching that bumper, like I've watched it how many times now, you know, all of those live workshops that I did and live audiences I did was prior to COVID. And I have done workshops since then, live workshops. And I don't know, I think during the whole COVID thing, I got out of the habit of doing a live video or doing a video part of the workshop. I got out of the habit. And so when I went and did workshops after COVID was lifted, it's like I forgot to even do that part. You know what I mean? Out of sight, out of mind, Wes. That's me most of the time.
See, it's the first thing I go for is grabbing the camera and trying to do some sort of, you know, B-roll or you know, just some sort of something to you know, just kind of document for later.
Well, and the other thing is, as you all know, I have a new grandson that was born a week ago today. And when I picked up my son and his wife to bring the baby home, I got out my camera and was going to film a video. not for social media, but for memories, right? And my son's like, "Ma, put the phone down."
Right.
And it's like, this is for me. This isn't for anybody else. It's for me.
I think I took 800 pictures the time that we went to Disney with the kids, and everybody was like, come on, you're lagging us behind. But now it's something that when they look back, they're like, oh, I remember that, and I remember that, and you remember that because of me.
Do we have Michelle yet?
We do not.
Okay,
but
let me text her.
Actually, she literally just popped on.
Okay.
So I'm going to bring her in and I'm going to duck out, okay?
All right. Bye, Wes.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Michelle, I was just getting ready to text you.
Well, I apologize. I was just trying to get the camera set up properly.
Oh, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I am groovy as always. I did my introduction, explained how we knew each other. There is a disclaimer, though, I should tell everybody, and that is starting April 1st, I'll be working with Michelle through the Televerde Foundation. And I'm really excited about that, Michelle, because, I admire you so much. Oh. And the work that you have done is incredible. And I'm going to shut up and I'm going to let you explain to everybody your journey and exactly what you're doing now for Televerde Foundation, because your story is an awesome story and an inspiring story on top of that, because you've inspired me in so many ways.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Christine. And thank you for having me today. As always, you're one of my favorite people, and I always get energized and enthused by being around you. Your passion for sales and for women in sales, I think, is just like one of those things that just really aligns to everything that me and my mission and the mission of the foundation is all about. That's such a broad topic if you say you're just going to turn it over to me and let me talk, because Lord only knows what I feel like talking about on any given day. But I think really what you want to hear about today is the work that we're doing and why you're excited to come and work for us. And so I'll try to, I know we don't have a lot of time, so I'll try to start at the top and give everybody a good kind of idea of what it is. So I am the Chief Impact Officer for a company called Televerde. And I'm also the CEO for the Televerde Foundation. And so Televerde is a business-to-business sales, marketing, and technology outsourcing company that has been providing some of the biggest and brightest technology companies in the world with demand generation and inside sales services. But what's unique about the company is it's a company that was founded almost 30 years ago, based on the idea that giving women in prison jobs, training, and education while they were incarcerated, that we could build a profitable business while teaching them the marketable skills necessary to transition back into the community successfully. And so the company was founded in 1994. It was a crazy idea. The world was really in a space of, crime and punishment and lock them up and throw away the key. And nobody was talking about rehabilitation and nobody was talking about business as a force for good or conscious capitalism or social justice or any of these things. But our founder just had a belief system that there was no throwaway people and that nobody should be judged for the rest of their lives based on the worst decisions they made on the worst days of their lives. And so, and it became the business, as much as it was a crazy idea, it became a phenomenal idea, because here we are now, 29 years later, we have we call them engagement centers, but they're call centers where we're providing demand generation and sales services for companies like SAP and Broadcom and GE and Honeywell. And the women are, really learning to become sales professionals, sales development reps, inside sales reps. We're located in women's prisons in Arizona, Indiana, and Florida, currently employing about probably 450 incarcerated women. But more important than that, or cooler than that, is that we've had about 4,000 women work for us over the years and transition back into the community to successfully reunite with their families, build professional careers in sales and marketing and technology, and stay out of prison forever. And so that's what the model of Televerde is. And so my role as the Chief Impact Officer, or more importantly, the CEO for the foundation, is really how do we help make sure all of those women that work for Televerde while they're incarcerated have the support and the services that they need to successfully transition back into the community, walk into any company, take a seat at the table and feel like they belong, like they have the confidence and the courage and the comfort to be successful in those professional careers. And then more than that is to take our 29 years of experience of providing women with professional jobs while they're incarcerated and leverage that and replicate that to provide more jobs and training and certification opportunities for women who wouldn't get the opportunity to work for Televerde. Because there's a lot of things that people don't know or understand or even think about when it comes to incarceration. Like, we currently have about 250,000 women in prison here in the US. And 80% of them are mothers with children under the age of 18. And, you know, the thing that always makes me sad is that 70% of those kids are doomed to follow in the same footsteps as their parents. And so what we found with the work that we do at the Televerde Foundation and at Televerde is that when the women get out and they are making enough money to be able to take care of themselves and take care of their families, they don't ever have to go back to prison again. The results and the impact of our program is the women are getting out and within 28 days, they are in gainful employment, earning salaries 4 times the national average for a formerly incarcerated woman. And over the years, well, actually in the past 3 years, we've not had a single woman go back to prison after being released.
Wow, that's incredible, Michelle.
Yeah. No, that's like my favorite statistic. And the long-term statistics for all of the women of Televerde is that the recidivism rate is less than 6%.
Wow.
And, you know, for those of you that don't really know or think about or have ever thought much about incarceration, 82% of all people will go back to prison within 8 years. And so we just know and we believe we've got a model that works. And one of the reasons why I know and I believe it is because personally, not only have I watched hundreds and hundreds of women transition out of prison, work for me while they were transitioning out of prison. I started my career with the company back in the 90s when I was serving a 7-year sentence here in Arizona. And, you know, when I got to prison, the one thing that really struck me was that I had to get out one day and I had to get a job, and I had 2 kids and I needed to be able to get a job that would be able to enable me to take care of my kids and get them back in my life. And I needed something that would enable me to, you know, really turn my life around and become a better version of myself than I'd ever thought possible. And that's what I found when I got to Televerde. I found a company and I found people who believed in me at a time when I couldn't believe in myself. And that's what really, you know, gave me the platform to rebuild my life. And that's what, you know, Televerde and the foundation is all about, is providing women with that platform and the opportunity to rebuild their lives when they're, you know, kind of in the worst place you could ever imagine, and then give them the support and the services and the opportunities to come out and become the best version of themselves and, you know, successfully join and advance in the amazing global workforce that we have today.
Yeah, it's truly a blessing. I mean, it truly is a blessing. And, you know, when I was, before you were on, I had talked about my experience of volunteering at Rockville Prison in 2019. And, you know, there's all this shame around being incarcerated. You know, there's the shame hangs on people, and you guys give them hope. You give them hope. And if I remember right, you told me that you guys go through a pretty stringent interview process if they're going to be a part of Televerde within the prison system, because you want them to experience what it would be like when they leave, correct?
Yeah. So they go through, well, one, it's, the job that they're in while they're incarcerated. It's a job like any other, and they have to apply for it. And then they have to go through the training, and they have to, and then they have to perform, right? It's a job. They're getting paid really well to be in the job. And then while they're there, we continue to train them and develop them so that they can advance in their career. And we provide a lot of different career paths for them, just like you would if you worked at any other company. And then, and so that's what we've also tried to replicate with the Televerde Foundation. So the Televerde Foundation, we have 5 workforce development centers in prisons in Arizona and Indiana, where we're not able to provide them jobs, but we give them comprehensive 6-month training and certification program where they learn business fundamentals, business communications, customer service, inside sales, sales development, project management, Salesforce.com. And they get the industry credentials and the certifications that show that they've learned these skills. And then we pair that with like what you're talking about, all the things that what it's going to be like when you get out. You have resume writing, interview skills, interview practice, workplace readiness, dressing to impress, like all the soft skills that you need to be successful in the workplace. And so to give them a comprehensive, learning experience that will enable them to come out of prison and step right into good jobs.
Well, Michelle, you'll be proud of me. I went through my suits and I donated them to Dress for Success. Nice. So I got that done.
Nice. Yeah. So, and we're able to do the work that we do with great partners like Dress for Success, and also companies. We're always looking for companies that need great talent. Everybody knows that talent is in demand and it's hard to find, and people will leave this job for $1 more somewhere else. And we have a talent pool of people who are motivated, dedicated, and who will be loyal to companies. So we're always looking for businesses who have a need for good talent to partner with, and we can help provide a real talent pipeline for companies if they want to, partner with us in that space.
And how would they reach you, Michelle, if they do want to partner with you?
Well, I think probably the easiest way to reach me all the time is on LinkedIn. It's just Michelle Cirocco. Fortunately, there's only one of me. So that works really well. And I honestly respond to every single person who reaches out to me on LinkedIn. Or of course you can, email me directly at michelle.cirocco@televerde.com or michelle.cirocco@gmail, as you just put on the screen. And I will absolutely respond to you. And Christine, I'd actually like to ask you a question, because you've been to the centers and you've met the women and you've seen it in action. And when you think about the women you met and the talent that they had, how would you compare their skill set to any SDR that you met in any other organization?
Much better than anyone I've coached. And I said that at the beginning, that I was so impressed with the level of knowledge and the expertise that these women had. You would never know, picking up that phone as a business owner, taking that call, that it was a woman inmate in a prison. You would never know that in a million years, because Billie Jean and Julie really stood out to me.
Yeah.
Because their voices were professional, confident, and they said all the right things. I mean, I was blown away by the level of expertise coming from this group of people. And I think there was 85 there that day. Michelle,
yeah, that sounds about
85.
Yeah.
And then when we did the breakout session later, and they asked me very good questions, and I walked away thinking, oh my gosh, I wish I could wrap all these people up, have them come to my workshops and train, because they're so good at what they do.
Yeah. Well, and I think I asked that question because, the number one thing that our customers have told us over the years, and I was just part of a customer visit just last week, and they said the same thing, is that the women, our women that are working for them, representing their organizations, consistently will know more about their products and their services than the salespeople, than their own salespeople. And because they're, like I said, they're motivated, they're dedicated. Some people say hope is not a strategy, but they have hope for their future, and what this job and this opportunity looks like to them. And so, one of the differences for most organizations, your SDR team, they're really looking for, the next, their next promotion, the next person to pay them $1 more. There's not the same level of dedication and loyalty that these women bring to the table.
You're absolutely right. And the other thing that struck me too, Michelle, is their level of curiosity.
Yeah.
Now, I've coached a lot of salespeople over the 8 years I've been in business, and they were never curious about how they could do better. They were never curious about, well, what if I say this instead of that? There was no curiosity level at all. And I find the best salespeople are the ones that are naturally curious. They want to learn. And I said in the beginning, these women, everything I said, they soaked up like a sponge. They were eager to learn and to be the very best they could be when they got on that phone.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
So, Michelle, we're going to close now. Thank you for the time that you came on here. I just really appreciate it. I so look forward to working with you starting in April. And everyone, hopefully Michelle will come back and
anytime you want.
Give us some updates on how the foundation is going here in Indiana. And Michelle, let me ask you this before we leave. Are you going to open up other states?
We are. We are currently proactively looking for funding so that we can expand. Our next 2 targets right now are Florida and Ohio. But we are, one of the ways that our model works is that when businesses want to partner with us through, a commitment to their corporate social responsibility and their desire to build their own talent pipeline, we can work with them and they can sponsor the creation of a workforce development center in a prison near them, as I always like to say. So we're eager to take our model across the country. So as I said, we have 5 centers right now. Our goal is to have 20 workforce development centers in the women's prisons across the country by 2030.
So businesses, I want you to really think about contacting Michelle and partnering with Televerde and Televerde Foundation. You may think there's a risk. I can tell you, right, Michelle, there's no risk.
There's no risk.
The risk is your limited mindset. That's the risk. And these women are coming out of prisons wanting a second chance. They have been trained. They are eager. And everything I've read, Michelle, they become the best employee because they've been given a gift.
Yeah.
They've been given their life back. And so if you want a loyal employee, partner with Televerde. Any last words?
Thank you for having me. Thank you for listening. And I would love to hear from any of you and answer questions and talk about what, how we can help your business grow with a creative and unique approach to developing talent.
Great. And remember, everybody, sales is a journey. It's not a quick trip around the block. I'll see you next Tuesday at 2:00 Eastern Standard Time. And if you've had lunch or you're eating lunch, we'll eat lunch together. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.